sound of a deep, resonant temple bell fading away slowly into absolute silence. My dear friend, let us sit together for a moment. Just you and me in the quiet warmth of this space. Take a deep, gentle breath. Let your shoulders drop. Feel the heavy physical weight of the day beginning to slowly lift from your chest and your body. Have you noticed how the entire world seems to change its voice when the sun finally goes down? During the daytime hours, there is always something demanding your attention. There are errands you feel you must run, small chores around the house to finish, a television program playing in the background, or a phone call to answer. The mind stays incredibly busy, occupied, and constantly distracted. But then, the night arrives. You turn off the television. You reach over and switch off the bedside lamp. The room softly fades into darkness, and the deep silence of the night settles over everything like a heavy blanket. And then, in that deep, empty silence, the question arrives. It does not knock on your door. It does not ask for your permission to enter. It simply appears, floating quietly in the dark, hovering over your bed like a persistent shadow. Will I have enough? It is such a quiet question, yet it carries a massive, heavy weight. Will I have enough money to survive the years ahead of me? Will my retirement savings actually last as long as my breath does? Will my health hold up? Or is this body going to betray me when I need it most? Will I have enough strength to remain independent, to stay in this familiar house that I love so much? Or will I eventually be forced to leave? Will I have enough of everything to just be safe? If you have heard this silent voice whispering to you in the dark, I want you to take a deep breath and know something very important. You are not alone. Please, let this truth sink deep into your heart. You are not weak for having these thoughts. You are not failing at life. You are simply a human being standing at a unique, tender, and sometimes frightening threshold of your existence. What you are feeling right now is the shared, silent heartbeat of millions of seniors all across America tonight. From the quiet, tree-lined suburbs of Ohio to the busy apartment buildings of Florida, from the small, coastal towns of Maine to the warm valleys of California, millions of beautiful, wise souls are lying awake right now, staring at the ceiling in the dark, asking themselves the very same question. They are looking into the misty, unpredictable future and feeling a cold, anxious wind of uncertainty. We live in a culture that constantly teaches us to look ahead, to measure our worth by what we possess, and to build massive fortresses of security around our lives. So when we reach this stage of our journey where the road ahead is shorter than the road behind us, it is entirely natural to feel afraid. The fear of not having enough is an ancient, deeply rooted human fear. It is simply the voice of your survival instinct trying to protect you from the unknown. But tonight, we are going to gently hold this fear together. We are not going to fight it. We are not going to run away from it or pretend it is not there. We are going to sit with it, wrap it in a warm blanket of compassion, and gently understand where it comes from. You do not have to solve the rest of your life tonight. You do not have to figure out how every future medical bill will be paid or how many years your knees will remain strong. All you have to do is be here, right now, in this moment with me. Before we journey deeper into this quiet, healing exploration together, if you find comfort in these words, please take a brief moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your gentle support is what allows us to reach more beautiful, tired souls who are seeking peace in the dark, creating a circle of warmth where no one has to feel isolated or alone. Thank you so much for walking this path with us. Now let us take another slow, soft breath together and look at the different ways this quiet question shows up in our daily lives. Let us look closely at this fear of not having enough, because it does not look the exact same for everyone. It wears many different masks and it speaks in many different voices depending on your unique life, your home, and your circumstances. For those of you who live alone, this fear is often wrapped in the quiet, heavy fabric of solitude. You might look around your living room in the late afternoon, watching the dust motes dance in the fading golden light, and feel a sudden, sharp, cold ache in your chest. You think about what would happen if you were to suddenly fall, or if you became ill in the middle of the night. Who would know who would come to open the door and help you? The silence of a big, empty house can sometimes feel peaceful, but at other times it can feel incredibly heavy, almost suffocating. You worry that your world is shrinking every day, that you are becoming invisible to the fast-paced, noisy society outside your window. The fear whispers that you will not have enough connection, enough human presence, or enough warmth to carry you through the winter of your life. Then there are those of you who have beautiful families, children who love you, and grandchildren who are growing up far too fast. Yet, even in the middle of all this love, a different kind of fear arises. You look at your children, who are working so hard, dealing with their own stress, managing their own busy lives and facing their own financial struggles, and a quiet, painful thought enters your mind. I do not want to be a burden to them. You worry about the day when you might need help with basic daily tasks, when you might not be able to drive yourself to the grocery store, clean your kitchen, or manage your own medicine. The thought of needing to be cared for, or worse, the thought of being placed in an assisted living facility or a nursing home, feels like a loss of your very identity, your pride, and your history. In America, we value our independence so highly. The idea of losing that independence, of having someone else decide when you eat, when you sleep, and where you are allowed to go, feels like a terrifying loss of your basic human freedom. You ask yourself, will I have enough strength to stay free? And of course, we cannot ignore the very real, practical, everyday worry of money. This is perhaps the most common and loud face of this fear. You sit at your kitchen table with a cold cup of tea, looking at the papers spread out before you. You see the rising prices of basic groceries at the store, the electricity bill that seems to go up every single month, the cost of prescription medications that never seems to decrease. You look at the balance of your savings account or your pension, and you do the math in your head over and over again. You compare the finite small numbers in your bank with the infinite scary possibilities of future expenses. What if inflation gets even worse? What if I need long-term care that my insurance does not cover? What if my house needs a brand new roof next year? These endless calculations can make your heart race, your chest tighten, and your stomach knot up. The numbers on the page seem to stare back at you like an enemy, telling you that you are not safe. These are real, heavy, and completely valid concerns. They are not imaginary dramas. The ticking of the grandfather clock in the hallway can sound like a warning countdown, reminding you of the relentless passage of time and the slow erosion of your resources. The stack of unpaid bills on the kitchen counter is not an illusion, but I want you to look at what is happening underneath these worries. Whether it is the fear of being lonely, the fear of losing your independence, or the fear of running out of money, they all share the exact same root. The belief that your peace, your safety, and your happiness are things that exist somewhere out there in the future, and that you must constantly chase and secure them before they disappear forever. We are going to examine this belief. We are going to look closely at the trick that our own minds play on us, a trick that actively keeps us from experiencing the beautiful, warm life that is actually happening right now in this very moment. Let us talk about the mind, my friend. The human mind is a truly wonderful tool. It has helped us build cities, write beautiful music, write books, and plan for our survival over thousands of years. But the mind has a habit, a very specific, stubborn mechanism that we must understand if we want to find any real peace. In psychology, there is a concept known as negativity bias. Our ancestors, living in the wild thousands of years ago, survived because their brains were constantly looking for danger. The brain that anticipated the worst-case scenario was the brain that lived to see another day. If they assumed every rustle in the bushes was a dangerous, hungry animal, they stayed safe. Over time, this nervous mechanism became deeply and permanently wired into our brain and nervous system. Now think about what happens as we grow older. As we age, our physical strength naturally declines, our social roles change, we retire from our careers, and we no longer have the same external structures that once gave us a sense of power, control, and daily purpose. When these external pillars of security begin to shift and crumble, our survival brain goes into absolute overdrive. It feels incredibly vulnerable. So what does it do? It starts to create constant simulations of the future. Your mind becomes like a frantic movie director, projecting terrifying films on the screen of your imagination. It shows you a graphic scene of you being lonely in a cold hospital room. It shows you a scene of your bank account hitting zero. It shows you a scene of you losing your memory or your ability to walk up the stairs. The mind does this because it falsely believes that if it imagines these terrible things, it can somehow prepare you for them. It thinks that by worrying, it is keeping you safe and ready. But I want to ask you a very gentle, very honest question. Has any amount of worrying in your life ever actually solved a future problem? When you lie awake at 2 o'clock in the morning, running those frightening scenarios through your head, does it actually add a single dollar to your bank account? Does it make your physical joints any stronger? Does it bring a busy loved one any closer to your side? No, in fact, it does the exact opposite. While you are busy watching these terrifying imaginary movies about next year or 10 years from now, you are completely missing the life that is actually happening right here, right now. The future is an illusion. It does not exist. It is nothing more than a mental concept, a projection of thought. When the future actually arrives, it will not be the future anymore. It will be the present moment. Think back on your past. Think of all the times you worried yourself sick about something that was going to happen. How many of those worries actually came true in the exact terrible way you feared? And even when difficult, painful things did happen, did you not find the strength, the resilience, the unexpected help, and the quiet power to get through them step by step when the time actually came? Thich Nhat Hanh always reminded us that we are very good at planning to live, but we are not very good at actually living. We are always preparing for some future moment of happiness, believing that we will only be safe and peaceful when certain conditions are finally met. But this is a trap, a loop that has no end. If we do not know how to be happy right now with what we have in this very room, we will never be happy. Even if we had millions of dollars and perfect health, our minds would simply find some new, different worry to obsess over. Before we move on to a very simple, practical way to break this painful loop of future anxiety, I would be so incredibly grateful if you could take a brief second to share this video with a friend, a neighbor, or a family member who might need a quiet moment of comfort and reassurance today. Sharing this message of peace is a beautiful act of mindfulness in itself, a way of spreading light to those who are struggling. Thank you. Now, let us learn how to drop the anchor and find our way back to the solid ground of the present moment. Now that we understand how the mind constructs these illusions of the future, how do we stop it? How do we break the spell of overthinking when it starts to pull us down into the dark, cold waters of anxiety? The answer is beautiful in its absolute simplicity. We use an anchor. When a ship is in the middle of a stormy sea, tossed around by the howling wind and the violent waves, it does not try to fight the storm. It cannot stop the wind, and it cannot flatten the waves with its hands. Instead, the captain drops a heavy, solid iron anchor deep into the ocean bed. The anchor reaches down through the turbulent, chaotic water until it grabs hold of the solid, unmoving earth below. Once the anchor is set, the ship may still sway, it may still be sprayed by the cold, salty water, but it will not drift away, it will not be dashed against the sharp rocks. Your breath and your physical body are your golden anchors. Whenever you feel the wind of future anxiety rising in your mind, you do not need to fight your thoughts. You do not need to argue with the voice that asks, "Will I have enough?" Trying to fight your thoughts is like trying to calm a wild wave by hitting it with a stick. It only creates more splashes, more chaos, and more turbulence. Instead, you simply drop your anchor. You shift your attention entirely away from the stormy sky of your mind, and you bring it down into the solid earth of your body. Let us practice this together right now. It is a very simple technique called grounding, and it is deeply rooted in the practice of Chun Neem. First, I want you to feel your feet. If you are sitting in a chair, feel the soles of your feet resting flat against the floor. Feel the solid contact between your shoes and the carpet, or between your bare skin and the wood. If you are lying in bed, feel the weight of your heels pressing into the mattress. Feel how the earth beneath you is fully supporting your weight. The earth does not ask you to be strong. It does not ask you if you have enough money in the bank. It does not care about your age or your worries. It simply holds you. It has held you since the very day you were born, and it is holding you right now completely, unconditionally. Let your body fully sink into that warm, solid support. Now let us bring our awareness to our breath. Thich Nhat Hanh taught us a very beautiful, simple breathing gatha, a short verse, to help us coordinate our breath with our awareness. As you breathe in, say to yourself silently, breathing in, I know I am breathing in. As you breathe out, say to yourself, breathing out, I know I am breathing out. Let us do this together, slowly. Breathing in, I feel the cool air entering my nostrils, filling my lungs, expanding my chest. Breathing out, I feel the warm air leaving my body, my shoulders relaxing, my chest falling. Just this one single breath. You do not have to breathe for the next hour or even the next 5 minutes. You only have to live this one single breath. Let us add the next step of the gatha to bring deep relaxation to our body. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Breathing in, you are bringing your wandering mind home to your physical body. You are uniting your mind and your body in the present moment. Breathing out, you let a gentle, soft smile form on your lips. This smile is not because everything in your life is perfect. It is a smile of sovereignty, a smile that says, I am here, I am alive, and I am in control of this present moment. As you practice this, look around you. What is actually happening in this exact room, in this exact second? Is there a roof over your head? Yes. Is there air to breathe? Yes. Are you safe in this very room right now? Yes. All of those terrifying scenarios of the future, those movies about running out of money or being lonely, they are not happening in this room. In this room, there is only you, the gentle rise and fall of your breath, the comfort of your chair or bed, and the quiet, beautiful peace of the present moment. You have enough air, you have enough warmth. In this single second, you are perfectly safe. You have everything you need to be at peace. To help us understand this more deeply, let me share a story with you. It is a story about a man named John who lived in a quiet, peaceful town in Ohio. John was 72 years old, a retired civil engineer. He had worked hard his entire life, paid his taxes, raised 2 wonderful children, and bought a modest, beautiful home with a small garden in the backyard. But when John retired, a cold shadow settled over his life. Every morning he would wake up, make a pot of coffee, and sit at his kitchen table. But instead of enjoying the rich, warm aroma of his coffee, or watching the morning light filter through his kitchen window, John would immediately open his laptop and look at his retirement account. He would read articles about the economy, about inflation, about the rising costs of healthcare. John became completely obsessed with the future. He would walk through his beautiful house, a house filled with the warm memories of his late wife and his children's laughter, and he would think, how long will I be able to keep this place? What if my property taxes go up? What if I have a stroke and have to go to a nursing home? Because of these constant, heavy thoughts, John stopped living. He stopped inviting his neighbors over for tea because he thought he should save money on groceries. He stopped working in his beloved garden, where he used to grow the most beautiful yellow chrysanthemums because his knees would ache slightly, and his mind would immediately tell him, this is the beginning of the end. Soon, you won't be able to walk at all. John's life became very small, cold, and dark. He was physically safe in his comfortable home, with enough money to live comfortably for many years, but in his mind, he was already living in a state of extreme poverty, fear, and isolation. He was starving in the middle of a beautiful feast. One afternoon, John's neighbor, an elderly lady named Sarah, who was a long-time practitioner of mindfulness, noticed his yellow chrysanthemums were starting to wither and die. She knocked on his door carrying a small plate of warm, homemade cookies. When John opened the door, she saw the deep, tired lines of worry etched on his face. She did not offer him financial advice. She did not tell him to cheer up. She simply pointed to his garden and said, "John, the soil in your garden is so rich, and the seeds you planted are so beautiful. But if you do not water them today, they will never bloom. They do not care about next year's weather, John. They only need water right now." Those simple, loving words struck a chord deep inside John's heart. He looked at his garden, and then he looked at his own life. He realized that his mind was exactly like a garden, but instead of watering the seeds of peace, joy, and gratitude that were right in front of him, he was watering the weeds of fear and anxiety about a tomorrow that might never come. He decided to make a small, daily change. The next morning, when the worry started to rise, John closed his laptop. He poured his coffee, walked out onto his back porch, and sat down. He felt the cool morning breeze on his skin. He looked at his chrysanthemums. He took a sip of his coffee and actually tasted it, feeling its warmth spread through his chest. He began to spend 30 minutes every single day simply being present in his garden. When his mind tried to whisper, "What will happen to you in 5 years?" John would gently say to himself, "I do not know about 5 years from now, but right now, I am here, the sun is shining, and these flowers are beautiful." John did not suddenly become richer. His knees still ached occasionally, but his life became infinitely larger, warmer, and more beautiful. He realized that the quality of his retirement was not determined by the balance in his bank account, but by his capacity to be present for the simple, daily wonders of his life. He learned to water the seeds of joy, and the soil of his mind responded with peace. The story of John shows us a very profound, important truth about our modern society. We have been conditioned to believe in a false, fragile definition of security. We are taught that security is something we can buy, something we can lock behind heavy doors, or something we can write down on a legal document. We think to ourselves, if I have $1 million in my retirement account, I will finally be safe. If I have the best health insurance, I will be safe. If I have a strong house with security cameras, I will be safe. But this is a dangerous trap, a golden cage that keeps us prisoner. Because the truth of this life, the fundamental law of nature that Thich Nhat Hanh always spoke about, is the law of impermanence. Everything in this physical world is constantly changing. Our physical bodies, no matter how much we exercise, eat well, or visit the doctor, will naturally age, lose strength, and eventually pass away. This is not a tragedy. It is the natural, beautiful, and sacred cycle of life. The seasons change, the green leaves fall from the trees in autumn, and the cold snow melts in the spring. If we try to fight this natural flow, if we demand that our bodies remain forever young and unchanged, we will experience nothing but deep, constant suffering. The same is true for material wealth. The economy fluctuates, money can lose its value, and physical possessions can be lost, stolen, or broken. If your peace of mind is built on the foundation of things that are constantly shifting, your peace of mind will also be constantly shifting. You will always live in a state of fear, because deep down you know that you cannot control the world. You cannot stop the passage of time. So, what is the alternative? Does it mean we should not save money, plan ahead, or care for our health? Of course not. We must take practical, responsible care of our daily lives. But we must change where we place our trust. We must shift our search for security from the outside world to the inside world. This is what we call Han Phúc Tu Tan, or inner happiness. Inner happiness is the deep, unshakable peace that comes from knowing that no matter what happens on the outside, you have the capacity to be okay on the inside. It is the ability to find a quiet space of calm within your own heart, even in the middle of a terrible storm. Think of a deep, vast ocean. On the surface, there may be wild, violent waves, strong winds, and dark, scary clouds. But if you dive down deep, hundreds of feet below the surface, the water is completely still, quiet, and peaceful. The storms on the surface do not affect the deep peace of the ocean floor. You have that deep ocean within you. Your breath is the pathway that leads you down to that quiet, still place. When you know how to breathe Changnim, when you know how to return to the present moment, you can find shelter from any external anxiety. You begin to realize that you do not need perfect conditions to be happy. You do not need a guarantee of future health or wealth to smile today. You can look at your physical pains and say, yes, my body is hurting today, but I can still enjoy the beautiful, sweet song of the bird outside my window. You can look at your financial worries and say, yes, my budget is tight, but this simple bowl of soup is delicious and I am deeply grateful for it. This is true freedom. This is the security that no one can ever take away from you. Let us go even deeper into the beautiful, timeless teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh, into a concept that can completely transform how we look at our lives, our age, and our place in this universe. This is the wisdom of interbeing. Su Ong coined the word interbeing to describe the deep, invisible, and sacred connection between all things. He would often hold up a blank sheet of paper and ask his students, "Do you see the cloud in this paper?" At first, we might say no, it is just a white piece of paper. But when we look with the eyes of Changnim, we see that without a cloud, there would be no rain. Without rain, the trees could not grow. Without the trees, the woodcutter could not cut the wood to make paper. So the cloud is actually present in this sheet of paper. The paper and the cloud are. They cannot exist separately. Now look at yourself. Look at your hands. Look at the reflection of your face in the mirror. You might feel lonely. You might feel like you are an isolated island, a retired person, sitting alone in a room, disconnected from the rest of the world. But that is a deep illusion. You are not an island. You are made of your ancestors, your parents, your teachers, your children, and the entire history of the earth. Your mother is still alive in every cell of your body. Your father's voice, his strength, and his weaknesses are present in you. Your children and grandchildren are your continuation, carrying your laughter, your lessons, your habits, and your love into the future. When you understand interbeing, you realize that you are never truly alone, and you can never be truly forgotten. You are a wave on the surface of a vast ocean. A small wave might think, I am small, I am going to disappear when I hit the shore. But when the wave realizes it is made of water, its fear disappears completely. It knows that even if its form as a wave rises and falls, it is still water, a part of the great, eternal ocean. Your life is a continuation of a beautiful, endless stream of life. This stage of your journey, your senior years, is not a period of decline or waiting for the end. It is the sacred time of harvesting. It is the time when you hold the ultimate wisdom of a lifetime of experiences, a wisdom that the young, busy, and stressed world desperately needs, even if they do not know how to ask for it. Your presence, your calm, and your peace are a gift to this world. When you walk with slow, peaceful steps, you are showing everyone around you that it is possible to live without fear. When you sit quietly and smile at a flower, you are healing the collective anxiety of our modern society. You do not need to do anything to be valuable. Your being, your peaceful state of mind, is your greatest contribution. Thich Nhat Hanh, wrote a beautiful sentence that we should carry in our hearts every single day. The future is made of the present. If you take care of the present moment, the future will take care of itself. You do not need to worry about what will happen next year. If you can breathe in peace right now, if you can find joy in this single cup of tea today, you are already building a beautiful, peaceful tomorrow. The seeds you water today are the flowers you will harvest tomorrow. Trust this simple, powerful, and loving law of life. We have traveled a long, quiet, and beautiful road together in our conversation today, my friend. We have looked directly into the dark face of the question, will I have enough? We have understood the different ways this fear tries to steal our peace, and we have learned to see through the illusions of the mind. We have discovered our golden anchor, the simple, quiet beauty of our breath and our physical body, always waiting to bring us home. We have heard the story of John and realized that our life is a garden, waiting for us to water the seeds of joy. And we have touched the profound wisdom of interbeing, realizing that we are connected to the entire universe and that our peaceful presence is a sacred gift. As we prepare to bring this reflection to a close, I want to invite you to make a gentle, loving commitment to yourself. When you turn off this video, when you go about your day or prepare for your sleep, remember that you are safe. You do not have to carry the heavy, impossible burden of the entire future on your shoulders. You only have to live this very moment, this very step, this very breath. If you feel a sense of comfort or a quiet space of peace opening up in your heart right now, I invite you to leave a small note in the comments below. You do not have to write anything elaborate. Perhaps just share one small, simple thing that you are grateful for today. The warmth of your blanket, the taste of your morning coffee, or the sound of the wind outside. By sharing your gratitude, you are watering the seeds of joy in your own heart and in the hearts of everyone who reads your words. Let us take one final deep, conscious breath together to close our circle of peace. Breathing in, I am at peace with my past. Breathing out, I smile at my future. Breathing in, I have enough. Breathing out, I am enough. Now let the sound of the gentle music wash over you. Let your eyelids become heavy. Let your body sink into absolute deep relaxation. You are safe. You are held. You are home. Sound of a gentle temple bell fading slowly into soft, soothing ambient music at 432 Hz. The music continues, wrapping you in a warm, peaceful embrace as you drift into a deep, restful sleep or a calm, quiet afternoon.